What's up, you guys? This is Shay, and I have another video for you guys. And I know this video is coming out on a different day. I usually come out with videos only on Wednesdays and only on Saturdays, but I decided to start a new series called Motivation Mondays, which actually isn't anything new. I know most of us on Mondays check our Instagram or our Twitters and we see motivational quotes to help get us through that week or through that day. So I decided to start this series after doing my first video about following your dreams, which I will leave linked down below. But this video is one that also was requested. This video is about how do you motivate yourself or keep yourself focused on a hobby or on your dream. And for a while now, I thought about this. And for me, I've had moments where when it comes to me doing my YouTube channel that I think about stopping, or I think about, what else can I do? Mostly it comes from when I feel like I'm not doing good enough, or when I feel like there's so much more that I could be doing, or I'm worried about me, failing or not succeeding. And a lot of times when I get to that point, I have to take a step back. I come out with videos twice a week, and sometimes thinking of ideas, whether it's reviewing an anime or a manga or even a show, sometimes that can become real nerve-wracking, or I can stress myself out about it. So what I've learned the most is taking a step back. Same way when you're working on any kind of problem. A lot of times you realize that if you take a step back and away from the issue that you're dealing with, and then you come back to it, you have a fresh new perspective or fresh new eyes concerning that particular issues. And for me, I've known this to be true. But there's also some other things that have helped me out along the way. Now, I know I mentioned in my last video that I love to read books, and I still love to read. And a lot of the books that I've read and listened to have motivated me to continue on with my dreams, or they've just motivated me in just everyday life. And I'm actually going to talk about a few of these books, or at least show you guys a few of these books that have really helped me. And maybe they might help you guys out too. And maybe they'll help you if you are someone that is at a tough road where you're focused on your dream or focused on a hobby that you have, but you're kind of losing interest. Maybe these books will help to jumpstart you with that. I have them on the side of me, so I am going to be every now and then turning away, but I'm just going to start out with these books now. So the first one I'm going to talk about is actually by Steve Harvey, and the book is called Jump. He wrote this book after he had done talking about jumping towards your dreams and just making that full force jump and not worrying about falling, and just hoping and praying that you'll succeed. And he did a video on this before he actually wrote the book, which is gone viral. It was what he filmed it while he was on set for Family Feud, and he pretty much, it went viral with him talking about it. He was just talking to the studio audience, and then he ended up writing a book about it. And so basically what it says is just Steve builds on the invaluable advice. In Jump, he explores some vulnerable seasons in his life to use these unfortunate moments, among them leaving a stable job to pursue his dream of being on television, starting a boys mentoring camp without any support, and reveling for the first time the behind-the-scenes mishap of the Miss Universe pageant to explain his core principles to teach you what it means to jump. So basically throwing caution to the wind and just leaving something sometimes that is super stable, but just going after what you want. And this book really did help me. I actually really love this book, and I recommend it to anybody. It's Steve Harvey's Jump. So the next book that I have is actually by Keke Palmer. I listen to her music a lot. I've seen her on various movies, and I really love her. And her book is called I Don't Belong to You: Quiet the Noise and Find Your Voice. And this book is basically kind of like a memoir of how she got started into the business, different things that happened along the way. She actually revealed in here that she was actually molested by a family member. And she also talks about individuality. She talks about just finding your own voice, dealing with heartache, dealing with heartbreak. And the best thing I really like about this book is how it's written. It has see if you can see these pages, little pages like this, and she has a lot of emojis in this book, which makes it really fun, really cool to read for anybody who's probably maybe not a preteen, maybe a teenager or a young adult would actually really like this book. And I generally loved it. Once I started reading it, I definitely couldn't put it down. The next book I have is actually by Lily Collins, and I didn't know who Lily Collins was. I kind of did. She's an actress, but she's also the daughter of Phil Collins, who basically sang the song "You'll Be in My Heart" on the Tarzan soundtrack for Disney, and this is her book right here. And basically in her book she talks about heartbreak, she talks about when she had an eating disorder and things like that, and just relationships with her parents. And this book was so much fun to read. Once again, it's called Unfiltered, Lily Collins Unfiltered, so definitely take a look, definitely read this book. I think you'll probably enjoy it, even though I myself didn't really suffer from any kind of like an eating disorder or stuff like that. I have dealt with heartbreak, so in some ways when I read this book I definitely understand. Well, when it comes to eating disorders, I don't believe I ever had one, but I did have some issues regarding my weight for a while, and not that I thought I was fat, I just was really small. And this book is just wonderful to read, so if you haven't read it, definitely read it. Next book I have is actually called Girl Boss, #Girl Boss, and it's by Sophia Amoruso. And basically it's about how she started her own business, and she started her own business basically buying and selling vintage clothes on eBay. And basically now she has a 250 million plus fashion retailer. So definitely check out this book if you haven't already. It's definitely a wonderful book for any girl that's trying to like start their own business or figure out how someone got started, and it's so inspiring if you want to try and do that, especially if you're someone who's into fashion. I'm not big into fashion. I wear jeans and t-shirts all the time, but I really do like having, you know, this book just because it really helped me out a lot. So definitely read this if you haven't already. All right, so the next book that I have is actually Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. So Trevor Noah is, of course, the host of The Daily Show, and I had been watching Daily Show clips on their YouTube channel that Comedy Central has, and I also was watching it via the Comedy Central app. So I love Trevor Noah. I think he's so cute. And so he was talking about his book, Born a Crime, and I decided to take a look and read it. And basically, he grew up in South Africa during apartheid, and he's half black, half white. And he talks about how growing up there, kind of like how tough it was, and also like how much of it, like not an influence, but like just how much his mom did for him and their family, and dealing with an abusive stepfather, where his stepfather actually shoots his mother, having to deal with all that, and having to deal with the race issues of being half black, half white, and only really growing up with the black half of your family and identifying as being black, but understanding that you don't look the same and not really knowing where your place is in society. Really like this book. Really hilarious, very, very funny, couldn't put it down. And the best part is, not only did I read his book, I also bought the audiobook and listened to it in my car when I would be on the way to work, which was even better because I like audiobooks, but I also like when audiobooks are actually recorded by the same author, and he records his audiobooks, so it's hilarious to hear him, you know, do the speak in the Tosa language and things like that. That was amazing to hear. So if you haven't checked it, check out his book, Born a Crime. And also, if you're not one who really wants to read, definitely check out his audiobook. It's very funny, very hilarious, and it's wonderful thing to listen to. The next book I have is also, the next 3 books I have are actually by YouTubers, which I love reading YouTubers' books whenever they write books, just because they're so inspiring for me as someone who records and puts their videos on YouTube. They're very inspiring, and a lot of times I relate to these people on so many different levels. But the first one I actually have is Lilly Singh's How to Be a Boss, and I love Lilly Singh. I came across her videos all of a sudden, and I really loved how funny her videos were and just how relatable that she was. And when she really talked about how she dealt with depression and trying to make herself happy, and as someone who's dealt at times on and off with depression, I definitely understood where she was coming from. And not only, once again, with her, just like I did with Trevor Noah's, I bought her book and I bought her audiobook. So I listened to her audiobook in my car once again, and she also narrates her audiobook. And she also have different people along the way that has influenced her at certain parts of her life. Also, narrate parts of her book when she's came across them, which is wonderful and just a great read. I actually like Lilly Singh so much that I bought two copies of this book. I bought a signed copy. This is a signed copy, so I have not opened this one, but I have another copy of the book that I actually bought from Target, because if you buy a book from Target, it has an extra chapter and that's not in all the other books. So I actually, on the day the book came out, tried to buy it at Target. They were completely sold out. I had to go to a whole nother Target and actually buy it online and pick it up there in store, and they actually think they had a copy. So I actually love her, and her book is really, really good. It comes with so many things. It's very colorful inside, which I love, and basically it's a guide to not surviving life but conquering life, and she's definitely a role model for me, and she's like a girl boss and everything. I love it. The next book I have is actually from Graceffa. I've heard of him. I've watched some of his stuff on YouTube, but I really wanted to read his book, and I ended up coming across his book in Barnes & Noble, and I fell in love with it once again. He's a YouTuber, and like most of the YouTubers' books I've read, like I mentioned, they're so relatable, because so many of the YouTubers said they felt out of touch with their peers, and at times I felt the same way growing up, definitely in like middle school and high school. I really felt out of touch with my peers. I was very much a daydreamer. I at times was actually really quiet, except around my closest friends. They'll tell you differently that I can be very loud and talkative, but around a lot of people I was kind of quiet, kind of kept to myself in some ways, not always, so not a whole lot. But reading books like this of people who have gotten picked on, because I've been there and I've gone through that, I definitely understood where he was coming from. So definitely take a look at his book if you haven't already. And the last book I have is called Really Professional Internet Person by Jenn McAllister, and she's once again a YouTuber. Her book was very interesting to read once again. She talks about how she started on YouTube. She talks about the stress that came with it as well when she started becoming more and more popular, and kind of how she decided to make the jump of that becoming her job. She started on YouTube younger than most of the people that I've read books of. I mean, Lilly Singh started in like her early 20s. Jenn McAllister started in like middle school to high school, I believe. But she started out always with like a video camera in her hand, but she was also very strange, very weird. Also kind of kept herself. She dealt with a lot of heartache from friends, you know, when friends would pick on her. She actually had two friends she thought were her best friends that actually would leave mean comments on her videos and stuff like that. So she was really crushed by that. And once again, she really inspired me to do more with my YouTube channel, and just inspired me to keep going. So those are the books that I have. There's so many books, and actually one last book I want to mention, I'll probably put a picture up probably somewhere over here, is Kevin Hart's book. I once again listened to his audiobook, and like I mentioned before, it's hilarious. And once again, he also was very inspiring of going for your dreams, because he talks about how many times, you know, he could have just given up on trying to be a comedian. So many people told him he couldn't do it. When he tried to do a open mic night to be a comedian, so many people were like, are you sure you want to do that? When he tried stuff out, learning the ropes and stuff like that. So that was very interesting to read as well, or sorry, not read, listen to. And once again, with him, he also has narrated his book as well. And there's tons of other books that I want to read as well, and I'm always looking for new books. I know Tyler Perry's about to come out with a book that comes out this fall. I definitely plan to read that, and also plan to pre-order it probably. I'm not for sure just yet, but read. And I think that's the best thing that you can do. Look for different ways in your life that inspire you. So if you are someone going through a rough patch of when it comes to your hobby or your dreams, and trying to stay focused on it, but somehow you keep getting unfocused, whether it's life in general, or whether it's just people telling you can't do it, or even if it's just yourself, learn from that. If it's something, if it's life, look at what inspires you around your life. For me, it can be anything from a TV show to a book I'm reading to the people around me that inspire different topics. Look at that. But Sometimes though, it does take stepping away and looking at it again with fresh eyes later on. So don't be afraid to do that. There's times where I have to do a video twice a week, and there's been times where I didn't come out with one. Sometimes because I was sick, or sometimes because I just wasn't in the mood. And it's okay for me to do that. It's not a big deal. So if you are someone that has a hobby that you know and that you love and that you really want to do, definitely keep going for it. But if you notice that you're losing focus, take a minute, breathe, step away, look for things that inspire you. And if you realize that the hobby, the thing that you're focusing on, just no longer gives you the passion, also remember it's okay to walk away. The last thing you want to do is force yourself to continue doing something that you don't want to do. Don't do that. Definitely don't do that. But like I said before, books are something that for me has always inspired me and has continually to inspire me to go for my dreams. Maybe books aren't the same for you. Maybe it's music. You can even do YouTube videos as well. I watch YouTube videos all the time. It's my main source of entertainment currently. And a lot of times the YouTubers that I watch inspire me. They make me laugh, they make me cry, they make me feel some type of way. So definitely do that. Different shows I watch. I guess I just got finished watching the series 13 Reasons Why, and I plan to have a video out on that on Wednesday because I really enjoyed that show, and I also read the book, and I definitely want to talk about it. So yeah, that's how to me that you can try and stay focused. Walk away for a little bit and then come back and find different things within your life or that are around you to help to inspire you, and think long and hard about what you're doing. It's okay. Those things happen. Don't beat yourself up about it, and don't force yourself to focus on something that doesn't have your focus. But that's my video. I hope you guys have a great Monday or a great rest of the week whenever you guys are watching this, and I'll have a new video out for you guys soon. Leave topics down below that you would also like me to talk about for these Motivation Mondays, and I hope to continue them. All right, bye.